Welcome to week number 2 of the Loving Where I'm Living Bible study. Last week we discussed loving the skin I'm in and really embracing the masterpiece that God has created in all of us. This week we'll be talking about having a happy home and making the commitment to do whatever it takes to do what God tells us in His Word to make our families strong and our homes happy. Take a second and read Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 4, and then we will begin our discussion.
Point number 1 is I must hurt for my home. And the idea here is, are we really at the point that we care enough to look to God and say, God, I need your help? And I think the points there in under point number 1 are so important. For instance, am I willing to admit I have a problem? Am I willing to accept the responsibility for my part? And am I willing to abandon my pride? These are issues that we need to kind of think about and do personal inventory and actually see. And the question I think that you could do as a group, I wanted to leave with you is, the first line of the verse there, Matthew 5, 3 and 4 says, you're blessed when you are at the end of your rope. And the idea is like, are you really there? And the question would be, are you really ready to look to God, for the healing your family needs? Or are you at that point where I give up, God, I need you?
So point number 2 this week, I must have a heart for my home. What does that look like, to have a heart for my home? Really, I think it just comes down to I must love my family. And husbands, love your wives. Wives, love your husbands. Parents, love your kids. Kids, love your parents. So we have to have love for our families, have a heart for our homes. Easier said than done, because sometimes we don't like our families, right? It doesn't say we have to like our families. It says we have to love our families. We are all imperfect people dealing with the struggles of life, the struggles in this world. Some of them very serious, some of them common things that come up every day, but it can create tension in the home, tension in the family. We've got to be rooted in love through all of those things. And so I think a great question that would be good to discuss in the group right now has 2 parts. 1, what do I really appreciate about my family? Share some things with the group. What do I really appreciate about my family? And second, what can you pray for us about? What are we struggling with as a family? And share some of those struggles and then pray about those struggles together.
Point number 3 today is I must have hope for my home. Now, hope is something that we cannot live without. And this great verse that Pastor Bo has shared with us here from Malachi has the phrase that the preaching will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, the hearts of the children to their fathers. Now, that is a beautiful scene right there, I think, and it's something that gives us hope. A lot of families kind of deal with this generational curse. We're like, oh, well, my grandmother did it this way, and my mother did it this way, and so I guess it's just on me, and I'm just going to be passing it on to my children. Well, that is not true. We have the power of Jesus Christ to break the curse. And when Jesus came and shared the Sermon on the Mount, he talked about blessing. In our passage today, it's using the word happy. Happy are the humble-minded, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. And so when Jesus is talking about blessed, then he's breaking the curse. And he can do that because he's Jesus Christ. And we're leaning on him for our hope today. So a question that we might have today for your group that you could talk about might be specifically, if there are dads in the group, what are some things that you can do to turn your children's hearts back to you? Or if there's no dads there, moms can ask the same question. What are some things that I can do to turn my children's hearts back to you or back to the Lord. And I think we could even start with saying, I'm sorry. One of the most powerful things that a parent can say to their children is, I'm sorry. So take a little bit of time now and share some of those things.
Thank you for participating in your group today. Hey, remember, we care about your families. The Lord cares about your families. And if you will take the time to apply the principles that He has given us this week, your families can be made whole and can be made strong. Have a good week.